Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are in the world. I hope this finds you well. Cass is pumping. It is bouncing hard off of this ascending channel. It never quite made it down to the 20 and 21 week SMA and EMA, the green and red line, which has held as support at various instances. Currently, it did hold on this ascending channel right here, and specifically the monthly support of the previous all-time high. If you come in here and you take a look at that level, this is exactly where price bounced. Very clear bounce. Only one test on a 4-hour candle. And now looks like it's headed to 4.3 cents. We also had this cup and handle. We had this handle, which was a descending channel, and it broke out of it. And it's heading higher. So things are looking good. We can come and look at the the Satoshi Sats chart, and the way to use this chart on TradingView, you come in here. I think everybody should set this up. You multiply the Caspa BTC pair equation. Let's see, right here. Bitcoin times 100 million, because there are 100 million Satoshis or sats in a single Bitcoin. So that's how you get the sats value. And so we had a channel near the all-time high, just like it happened on this high. It happened here, where price wavered before it broke out, wavering, currently breaking out. So I think Caspa is likely headed higher on the USD pair. The Bitcoin pair is a good indicator of that. Let's take a look at the stock market. See that it even has a rounded bottom here. More or less. The rounded bottoms aren't always perfect necessarily, but it's more of a general shape that you look for. And as I've said before on the channel and on Twitter, the 786 to 618 level, fib retracement level, is an important level to look at and consider that some volatility will occur preceding a potential breakout to all-time highs. We can go back and look at instances of that. I'm not going to include this wick since that was it's not super useful here. You can see though that the 786 and 618, you can come in here and look at 786, 618, and then the 20 and 21 week here. So we have a similar setup going on right now. So for volatility to come in here is normal. And if we set new highs, we need this level to hold and just push it up. And that'll spill over into crypto. Bitcoin will do well. It usually lags the stock market. And we had a strong, wow, look at this, strong reaction here off the bottom. If this level broke, I would be looking at these moving averages here. You can see if you go back in time where the blue circles and the yellow are, you can go back in time and look at where those levels held as well. This is the 200 week moving average, which is historically a well-known support level. This is the about 285 week. This is the a 350 week, which is where price came down to during the the FTX crash right here. So if we get down there, and I don't necessarily think we need to go down there, this is a pretty clear level, and the market loves to trick people, right? So that's why I opened this YouTube channel now. I decided with a line from The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, the movie, where it becomes clear he's living in a simulation. Because that's the market. You gotta look at it with a tinfoil hat on. And a lot of people got really bearish here. Really bearish, right? So, hey. I mean, I heard a lot of people say they were in all cash, which I was just kind of bewildered by, considering what's going on here. You look at these moving averages, 20 and 21 week, the green and red line. Look what price did here. If you blocked this COVID crash out of your memory, just pretended it didn't happen. Price may have just wavered in here and gone up. That's basically what we're doing right here. This area is basically the same as this. This is all the pre-halving year, right? So everybody's expecting some sort of COVID crash to come in here like this, right? Something like that. Because that's what we had here. But if we don't get that capitulation, people are going to be in cash and miss the bottom, which is pretty wild, huh? So if this is the bottom, we're setting a bottom right now, we can expect for everything to keep pumping. And Bitcoin's going to pump, Caspa's going to pump. The nice thing about Caspa is that any of the holders from last cycle who never took profit that are currently underwater, for example, like Solana or Avalanche or Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum will probably do okay, I guess, maybe. But any of those coins that went super high and people are massively underwater, like down 90, 80%, whatever, people are going to take profit. They're going to try to get out the whole way up. They're not going to feel confident that their coin is going to return to all-time highs. So you got to keep that in mind. The nice thing about Caspa is that it wasn't on FTX. It wasn't around last cycle. So it's all everybody's, and a lot of the community is aware that the tech is groundbreaking. That's why they got in. If people got in it early, they knew and held, they knew what they were doing. They knew what was going on. Any miners that sold down here or in, OTC in the Discord or whatever, they didn't understand enough fundamentally about what Caspa is and the history of Bitcoin and what a peer-to-peer transaction is, and why Caspa improves on Bitcoin, which is not scalable. They didn't necessarily understand what was going on and how revolutionary it was, how revolutionary Caspa is. So those people are out. They're just out, and the stronger hands will get to ride it up to the top. I started buying it right here. This was my first buy. That's on Twitter, evidence of that. And then I bought more down here, more down here, more here. And so that, so I got in pretty good time. And my average is pretty good, simply because I was exposed to it early on. And people were fighting it, and it made me research it, and I liked what I saw. So FUD is kind of good in a way. It brings people to it. It's just like any press or any publicity is good publicity, even if it's negative. And so we appreciate the FUDders. They can keep FUDding it for all I care. Anybody who's smart enough to see it, and I think there are a lot of smart people on Twitter, they will realize what it is. And even the Bitcoin OGs, a lot of people have traded their Bitcoin for it. So very exciting times, very exciting times. Market cap wise, it is pretty undervalued in my opinion. It can go way higher. It's still, I think, under $1 billion market cap, or somewhere near there. I'm not sure with this recent pump if it's at $1 billion or not, but it can get to the top 10 easily, given that I think to get in the top 10 you need I don't know what it is, maybe between 7 and 10 billion right now. So it can get there. And you can look at the early Bitcoin chart. Very interesting here to compare these. Let's pull up the Caspa chart. Yeah, so we had an ascending channel very early on in Bitcoin as well. And to me, it looks like we're in maybe the last touch, maybe in the last touch here before we have a pretty massive move to the upside. Bitcoin did a 55x up to the top, and a similar move would put Caspa at $1.83, I guess. Above $1.50 for sure. Yeah, Bitcoin had a smaller market cap here, of course, but it was also, look at the liquidity. It was horrible. It was very hard to buy Bitcoin back then, much harder than it is to buy Caspa now. So you got to keep that in mind. It's very easy to buy Caspa comparatively for anybody who's remotely familiar with trading and using exchanges. Once it gets onto Coinbase and Binance, and I'm sure it will later on, that's when you have people sitting on their couch watching TV and buying crypto and just pressing buy, which is just how it goes. So to be on Twitter this early buying something like this is a pretty huge opportunity. And most people who are using Coinbase aren't going to know anything about what it is. They're just going to see that it's been going up. They're going to hit the all-time chart. They're going to see, they're going to see it from down here, right? And by the time it's in the top 10, right, it's going to be somewhere up here, maybe around 30, 40 cents. Unless the whole market keeps pumping, then it could be even higher. But for Caspa to get in the top 10, it just needs to get within this area right now, if everything else stayed the same. But I'm sure by the time it gets up there, everything will have pumped, like Bitcoin will be pumping, the stock market will be pumping. And people will click the all-time chart on Coinbase, and they'll see that it's just been up and up and up, and they'll hit buy. It's just how it is. It is what it is. But my conviction is that Caspa goes to the top 10. And exciting times. So I'll leave it there. Things are looking good. Bitcoin's pumping. The stock market is doing its thing here between the 786 and the 618. It could very well come out and break its all-time high, sending the whole crypto total market cap higher. Bitcoin is getting a decent bid here off the bottom. If you ignore the market crash during COVID, I don't see any reason to believe it comes down to this area, but it could. But if we don't get a black swan, I don't see it. I'm hesitant. So we'll see what happens. The charts look bullish to me. Doesn't mean anything is guaranteed. It's good to be prepared for both. And we'll continue monitoring the situation here. If you like the content, feel free to subscribe, press like, and until next time, have a great day. See you then.